Good afternoon, friends and family. My name is Renta, and I'm coming today with you with 5 fragrances that bring you beautiful memories, that lift up your spirits. I've been tagged by the wonderful, beautiful Veronica says, and this was a tag created by Yummy411 and Pam Fam. I ask you, I beg you, please go check out the channels. These women are extraordinary. Their content is amazing. If you love fragrances, lifestyle, beautiful, they just have everything you can ever think about. Their channels are amazing. Veronica says, Yummy411 and Pam Fam. That channel will transform your life. I promise you. And all of them also. So I'm going to start with a fragrance called Eternity. Eternity for Women. So this was released, I think, 1888. But I couldn't afford it, of course. I was still a young girl, and then I became a young mother, and I couldn't afford it. Years later, in my journey of fragrances, yes, I was able to afford other ones, and I went through other fragrances, and I think my first bottle was 1991. But when I was 25, every Puerto Rican in this world, their dream is to be the best salsa dancer ever, and I am one of those, and so is my sister. And so when we were young, we went for these classes at the original Copacabana in New York City, 57th Street between 10th Avenue and 11th. That no longer exists. And so Tuesday, it was our dancing classes with our instructor. And some days we were able to get in and participate in, in the dancing, but there were artists playing. And of course, we were enjoying the Copacabana as we were being students of this fabulous, famous salsa instructor. And I met Mark Anthony, I met Victor Manuel, I met many famous in the music, in the Spanish music, and it was beautiful. I learned not only to be an amazing dancer, but I learned to lead because I didn't like men to sweat us. And this is what I was wearing. So when I think about it, it reminds me of that time. And then they changed the Copacabana to 33rd Street or 30-something Street between 11 by the Jacob Davis Center here in New York. And I remember another fragrance for that. But we're not going to go back and forth between salsa and fragrances, okay? So now I'm going to transport you to another one of my beautiful, beautiful times. And I didn't go through the notes because we are talking about fragrances that lift up our spirits, and when we smell it, we have memories. We get up and we feel refreshed, and we just, I don't know, it changes our moods, right? So let's go to the next one. So the next one is an awkward one. It is Alien by Mugler. So I learned about this fragrance chasing somebody here in New York in a restaurant called Mount Fuji. It is a Japanese restaurant, completely the most beautiful thing you ever see. They just closed because of pandemic. I hope they will open. It's in Route, if you ever come to New York, it's in exit 15B, Route 87 North. And that's around the area of the Seven Lakes. I don't know if they will be open. It's a mountain. The whole mountain is the restaurant. It's an experience, but that doesn't remind me of that. I chased a lady to find out what she was wearing because I really didn't like Angel at the beginning, so I wasn't really paying attention to Mugler until Alien until I smelled it. So Terry Mugler and I didn't have a cool relationship at the beginning until Alien came around. And when I was in Egypt, my dream was to be in the pyramids. I'm not gonna make this video very long, but when I was young, I used to play a game with my sister. And my other sister, which was like my sister, right? It was, what are the places we're gonna go for our honeymoon? So one of them was New York. I'm originally from Puerto Rico. And one of them was Spain. No, it was Italy. And then it was Egypt. And I was obsessed with the history of Egypt, right? End up marrying one. When I went to the pyramids for the first time, I felt that it was the biggest most accomplishing day of my life and riding in the Nile. But there was a problem, and I'm glad I had Alien. You're gonna laugh. I decided I want to get on a camel because there in the pyramids, there's like this desert plains, right? And there are people with, you can ride horses, you can ride camels. And right now, right in front of the Phoenix, they constructed a brand new museum, which they spent billions to do it. But I'm talking about years ago that was empty. And right on the area where I have a picture of the camel. If you follow me on Instagram, Brenda _ Liz _ Rostam, you will see the pictures of me and the camel. That camel stink. When I tell you that camel stink, I wanted to just get off of there, or if they didn't get me out, I was just going to go whoop in top of the camel. I never smelled anything like it. I have a very sensitive stomach. And I pulled out Mugler from my bag. And you know, my jeans were going and everything because I was going somewhere else. I was going to the museum in Cairo. You know, we were in Cairo. We were going to see places. And so Mugler, Alien, the Marcianito, saved me. Okay, I got more stories to it. So this lift me up. These are fragrances. They just, you know, they lift me up. I have another story, which is before that. I should have gone through time. But by Michael Kors. So Michael Kors was just a perfume, right? And probably a designer, but I didn't know much about it. I'm talking about 2000, the year 2002, maybe 2001 or 2003. I can't remember exactly, but it was something like 2003. I remember I discovered it. It was just expensive. It was very expensive. And I used to buy the bottles. I remember at the time I was already divorced and I had a boyfriend. We were dating and he told me, "You wearing a cheap perfume." I said, "What? I'm wearing a cheap perfume? Really? Check yourself, because you don't smell as good as I do." I used to get offended when somebody told me that this was a cheap perfume, because it was expensive here in New York. And there is a district here where you can go buy perfumes with a dozen, but you got to know where you go. By the dozens. You know, they only sell you by the dozens. They are distributors in Manhattan, Broadway, around 30. It starts by 32nd, if you ever hear, all the way to 27th Street, Broadway and 6th Avenue, something like that. You will find distributors of fragrances there. They distribute to stores. And this fragrance, a friend of mine who passed away, may she rest in peace, her name is Belen, a friend of my best friend, and you know, we were all friends. One day she told me, "Can you please buy me Michael?" So I took her down there and I talked to the guy. He knows me. It was the perfume girl. And I told him, "Please, she has breast cancer, you know, and she really wants this fragrance. Can you do that?" And he was so kind. He gave me a great price. So when she went back to my other friend, we were spending Christmas together, and she went to Michelle, my best friend. Michelle said, "You smell like Brenda. You actually smell like Brenda. Why you smell like Brenda?" You know, and every time I see this fragrance, it reminds me of Belen. She fought cancer 2 times, and then the 3rd time, it was in the pancreas. It went to the pancreas, and no, first it was breast, and then it went to the pancreas, something like that. And I remember her, and it brings me that strength to keep on going. And since we're going back on time, I'm gonna tell you a story about a boyfriend that I had that was so gorgeous. I was a good-looking girl, you know. I used to be. And I was young. I was probably 15. And he went to ask my mother for the hand, you know, all of that in Puerto Rico. He was so good-looking. His nickname was Bello. And he gave me Oscar. It was not in this bottle. It was in another bottle, like a damper. Oh my goodness. Every time I smell this, I remember my Reebok sneakers he brought me for Valentine's. They were pink. I remember the teddy bears and the fragrance. And I remember Puerto Rico. You know? I remember going to Old San Juan. He used to take me to buy these delicious tacos by where they have the boats, where the tourist boats, what do they call those, the cruises. Or he'll take me to Old San Juan. Or he'll take me to such a romantic places, like sightseeing, Oaxaca, Puerto Rico, Rincon, Puerto Rico, Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico. He was such a gentleman, such a young gentleman, but he was so kind and so sweet to me. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but this reminds me of my island. I'm not mentioning him for any reason. He's a married man. I don't know where he lives or where he's at. I don't know anything about him. But when I smell this, I remember all those places I visit, you know? And I remember Puerto Rico. Has that ever happened to you? I do. It gives me joy. Okay, so now I'm going. Realities by Liz Claiborne. Ladies, me and my sister will have fights about this. Oh my goodness. But the first one was the triangle, right? This is realities. The first one is the triangle from Liz Claiborne. One day she finished, I said, if you touch my perfume again, we are going to have real serious problems. But you know, this reminds me of my younger daughter, my oldest daughter, when I gave birth to her in 1991. I think I bought it right after, sometime after that. And she used to love to go to the dresser and grab it and spray it on herself. And I said, are you wearing my perfume again? Are you wearing my perfume again? She said, yes, Mommy. Today, if you follow me on Instagram, you will know what woman she has become. She works for the Plaza Hotel. Wonderful, intelligent girl. I never had to tell her to do homework. She was just in top of the class all the time. When I go to the room, I said, what is she doing? She was reading. And she used to fight with me if I didn't take her to Barnes & Nobles in the weekend. There was no computers at that time. She's 30, you know, going on 31. But this reminds me of my daughter. And this reminds me of how wonderful times we had. She was the only girl among 4 boys for a very long time. And, well, there's 4 boys now. At that time, it was 3. I have 6 children. I told you guys about it. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you go check out these ladies. Veronica says, the beautiful Veronica says, from here, from New York, I love you. I wish one day you come and we'll hang out and we'll remember all the places that you love, and we'll share some time together. And the beautiful Yummy411, which is a New Yorker like me, and the beautiful Pam Fam, go check out her channel. She will transform your life. There will be something in you that will change, and you will become stronger. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing my memories. Bye-bye.